Looking at direct competitors, with their new strikers scoring consistently and integrating quickly with their clubs, Manchester United fans likely feel both envious and a touch disappointed watching their trio of new signings Mathues Cunha, Bryan Mebumo, and Benjamin Sesko remain completely silent after the first two matches of the 2025-26 Premier League season. On paper, this trio blends strength, technique, speed, and goal-scoring ability. On paper, they promise a bright new era where Manchester United can play modern, direct, and explosive attacking football. But the harsh reality is pouring cold water on that optimism. A draw against Fulham and a narrow defeat to Arsenal on opening day have cast a gloomy atmosphere over Old Trafford, much like the previous season. So where does the problem lie? Is it that this trio is underperforming, or is Ruben Amorim's system failing to unlock their potential? The first thing to emphasize is that calling Cunha, Mebumo, and Sesko poor performers would be unfair. In the first two matches, these three newcomers were, in fact, rare bright spots in Manchester United's otherwise dim picture. The issue isn't their effort or attitude, but how they're placed in a system not yet ready for explosiveness. Cunha was deployed high in Ruben Amorim's 3-for-3, but, in reality, moved widely and frequently dropped deep to receive the ball. His turns in midfield, ability to hold the ball in tight spaces, and progression forward were highlights. He's not a lazy striker waiting for the ball. On the contrary, Cunha's dynamism often saw him play the orchestrator in the entire setup. Had he been luckier, Cunha could easily have scored. Against Arsenal, he constantly troubled Rare. Against Fulham, he wore outburned Lino in the first half. The issue is merely a lack of precision or luck, not a loss of his goal-scoring instinct. Bryan Mebumo retained the qualities that made him a star at Brentford: speed, energy, and relentless spirit. Mebumo was among the most active movers in Manchester United's attack in both matches. He didn't shy away from pressing or dropping back to support defensively. When flair was needed, Mebumo was often the instigator. Compared to United's other attackers, almost no one matched his direct impact. Unlike his teammates, Benjamin Sesko has only been used off the bench, coming on in the second half of both games. This gave him little time or rhythm to settle into matches. The 22-year-old striker needs the ball, needs rhythm, needs involvement to feel confident. But at Manchester United right now, Sesko is almost starved of service. Against Fulham, stats showed he received no quality crosses from either wing-back and no incisive through balls from midfield. He was forced to roam for the ball, but the wider he moved, the further from goal and the less dangerous he became. The next question is, why has such an expensive, quality attack failed to score? The answer lies in Ruben Amorim's tactical system. First, it must be acknowledged that two matches aren't enough to judge Manchester United's atomic trio. Elite football demands chemistry, which can't emerge after just a few weeks of training, especially in the brutal Premier League environment. So expecting Cunha, Mebumo, and Sesko to instantly click after a short preseason is tough. Patience is mandatory. However, the issue is that Amorim's current tactical system doesn't truly serve the attack. The style he employs at United still carries heavy traces from his Sporting Lisbon days, leaning toward engaging in duels rather than quickly moving the ball toward the opponent's goal. Unfortunately, United's midfield lacks a strong enough ball winner or a distributor skilled enough to benefit the forwards. With slow ball circulation, opposing defenses have time to retreat and stabilize. As a result, strikers like Cunha or Mebumo must often drop deep to receive the ball instead of getting it in dangerous areas near the box. Cunha's case is clear. He's not a traditional poacher waiting for chances, but excels in wide movement, escaping presses, and linking play. Yet at United, he's doing too much, from joining presses, navigating tight spaces, progressing the ball, to even playing the finisher. This vicious cycle wears him out before critical moments. The more tasks a striker handles, the less sharp They are in finishing a paradox Amorim hasn't resolved. Similarly, Benjamin Sesko, with his tall frame and aerial ability, clearly needs accurate crosses from the flanks or well-timed through balls from midfield, but in the second half against Fulham, he barely received a single decent cross. Neither Dorgu nor Dalit are wingbacks capable of creating constant pressure, and the midfield failed to provide a single high-quality, incisive pass. Sesko was left starved, forced to roam or create chances himself, inevitably ending the match with a blank stat sheet. But blaming only the tactics isn't enough, as another issue looms. The quality of players surrounding the atomic trio is either unsuitable or, worse, not up to par. Even captain Bruno Fernandes struggles, looking lost when deployed deep in a two-man midfield. His creativity is stifled to the maximum, and his mentality seems somewhat rigid. Casemiro shows clear signs of decline, moving heavily and often off-pace. In critical moments, Ugarte, to put it bluntly, is clearly not yet at this level. The one believed to be the best fit, Manu, hasn't been given a chance by Amorim. All these reasons offered to excuse the trio needing more time to settle, lacking chemistry, or Amorim's system not yet running smoothly can't mask a glaring reality. Manchester United spent €200 million to buy goals, and fans have the right to demand them immediately. Modern football doesn't allow endless patience, especially when direct rivals like Manchester City, Arsenal, or Liverpool boast attacks that score from day one. Fans can't keep hearing familiar excuses while the scoreboard coldly shows zeros next to Cunha, Mebumo, and Sesko. For a club like Manchester United, waiting can be a luxury. When the team is stuck, they look to their strikers and Old Trafford's crowd needs a decisive shot, a flash of brilliance to ignite. That should be the task of blockbuster signings arriving with massive price tags. Yet, after 180 minutes, all the Red Devils fans have received is frustration as that moment refuses to arrive. So, when will Mancunians see their strikers score and celebrate? That's the biggest question. The answer lies in Ruben Amorim, daring to changing how the ball is progressed, changing the midfielders' roles, and even changing the formation. Cunha needs to be freed from dropping too deep to focus more on finishing. Mebumo needs a cohesive partner on the flank to leverage his speed. Sesko needs the ball in the box, accurate crosses, and sensitive, intelligent through balls. Manchester United have never lacked ambition or money to spend. But football isn't just about flashy transfer market numbers. A €200 million attack doesn't guarantee goals automatically. To turn signings into success, the team needs a suitable system, a degree of patience, and, above all, timely moments of brilliance that only big stars can deliver. Yet, after 2 rounds, United fans have yet to witness that moment. What Cunha, Mebumo, and Sesko have shown so far is merely effort, a few bright flashes, and little else. But goals, the most precious currency to fuel faith, are still absent. At Old Trafford, once home to legendary goalscorers like Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, and Van Persie, the fact that the club's most expensive attack in history hasn't made a clear mark after the opening games surely breeds doubt and disappointment. But it's also a reminder that Manchester United must keep changing. The attack's failure to score is just part of a larger issue afflicting the entire team.